Thank you for coming. Thank you for Zoom people for showing up. Okay, so I'm going to share with you my sort of like a photography journey and how that will translate or relate to Chinese medicine. Okay, so that's really the purpose. The purpose is not really just to show the photos I've been taken, but really how that will relate to Chinese medicine. Okay, so I started out taking hummingbird photos on August 11th after I was very inspired by my daughter, my youngest daughter. She's 19 right now. And on the right-hand side, that's the photo I took a few days ago. So within about 3-month time frame, right? So I really I learn a lot. Okay, through daily. I actually take hummingbird photos every day, and I'll share. So these are the photos I've been taking. So very quickly go through. I actually have these photos in mind for quite a while until this flower bloomed, and and I set it up, and I call this hummingbird chaser because it chases away all the other hummingbirds. So I call it chaser. There's actually another hummingbird that comes through, okay, and the name is nicer because it doesn't chase other hummingbirds. So, so I was able to progress through this, okay, from a very fuzzy photo, kind of lighting was a problem, to extremely sharp photos, okay, and with very, very good lighting. And through tons and tons of photos, I actually was, these photos are actually mistakes, okay? And through the mistake and through the bright morning sun, I was actually able to capture, this is in camera, from the camera, the wings are like rainbow colors and beautiful, beautiful patterns. So I learned how to do that. At home, my mom's home, they have a Paris kind of a thing, like probably something about this high. So I set it up, and I was able to take a photo of hummingbirds right behind this Paris Tower. So I had a lot of fun with these things, and hummingbirds. You see The funny thing about taking hummingbird photos is like you take a photo, you never know what you're gonna get.
I'm sorry to interrupt. There's no audio on the online. Do you think it says John's muted?
Okay, I am actually not muted, but I'm actually, so you actually want to hear my voice, huh? That's new. Am I still muted? Is it a problem with my the laptop here, or?
I can hear it. I can hear you here. I can hear you in this room.
Oh. Actually, Jen?
Maybe her volume.
Yeah, maybe turn on the volume. Okay, she's not responding, so we're not going to pay attention to her, okay?
If you cannot hear, you have to...
That's right. So I can talk bad about her. But so hopefully she fixed that on her end, okay? Seems like we're okay. So I start to get expressions from hummingbirds, okay, through their posture, through their movement. Some are like martial arts, some are like, hey, what are you doing? Some are, it's very, very interesting, okay. So then I brought some, I put a baseball, I found a baseball, I have a little figurines. I use a double-sided tape, put it on, and all of a sudden I have a story, okay. So this one I actually put out like a 5-picture thing. It's like, okay, this is a play date of, Chaser with this beautiful white cat. And they started out with something, and, the white cat would be serving Chaser this nectar. Right? Chaser goes, oh, wow, so good. This is the so good photo, okay? And eventually I actually changed to a darker background. It's like, oh, look at the time, I gotta go, something like that, right? So we start to build a little story. Just find a flower somewhere and just put it up, and this is actually nicer. Okay, can you tell the difference? So this is chaser, and that's nicer. Possibly, but I asked them, but they wouldn't answer. Okay. All these photos were taken out of this window. Okay, so my mom has a 20 by 30 kitchen window. So basically all I do is to remove the screen, okay, set things up. So this thing actually involves like woodworking and clamping and lighting and a lot of experiments, okay. So a lot of based on the principle that I know about photography and boom, 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 okay. So that's really just a window, okay. All these photos were taken out of a window. So I studied martial arts, I studied Wing Chun, like Hugo. So I actually made just find a wooden, like pieces of wood and then just made a wooden dowel. So again, this is nicer, okay. So nicer is very, very expressive, okay. Nicer's movement is very, very different than chaser. So nicer has a lot of sort of like martial art type movements. So here there's a crystal of hummingbirds in my mom's place, and it's very interesting. When hummingbirds sees another thing that looks like hummingbirds, they start to get very agitated. Okay, so let's say this is the crystal. What they would do is, this is when I get outstanding, expressive, out of this world photos, is that they will start to go like, they would move all over the place. Okay, very, very interesting. So I got all these expressive photos, right? And then they start to feel this connection, okay? So I start to feel like the hummingbirds are here, not just for the nectars. They're here to really inspire me, empower me, and elevate me, okay? So I put my emotions, how I feel. For example, the photo with the red rock that says AMORE, okay? It's actually very interesting. I pick up this rock and I ask my friend, it's like, why did they carve AMORE on this rock? And my friend looked at me, it's like, seriously? That means love. I said, oh, okay, that means love. So I finally knew what love was in AMORE, okay? So when I see this and I see this photo, I put in the caption that love hurts when it's conditional, right? So we all say, oh, love hurts. There's actually a song called Love Hurts, right? But honestly, love hurts when it's conditional. When it's unconditional, it doesn't hurt. It actually fulfill fulfill a lot of things. And to me, that's very, very connected to Chinese medicine, right? If we feel like we are doing this conditionally, if we are here to help others, our patients needs to get well, honestly, we're in for a rough ride, okay? But if we just connect to our patients without condition, you will start to treat them, they start to thrive, they start to come out of their shell, okay? Because part of the reason why we feel what we feel is because we are always trying to meet expectations, right? Another thing, on the photo below the red rock is another bird that has a very distinct posture, like a V, right? With the beak and the wing like a V. And I put on, we spend lifetimes looking for love from our own selves, okay? And I see this in the clinic all the time, okay? We just had a person with Parkinson coming in. She's trying to meet expectation all her life, okay? Maybe even beyond this lifetime, okay? So ultimately, what are we looking for, right? So this kind of fits my healing principle. Is I don't really heal physical issues because ultimately it's going to fail, right? But if we have the opportunity to connect to loving kindness, to me that's the ultimate healing. Okay. So all this, what I really, really want to share with you is this. Okay. So in photography, there are a set of attributes. Okay. Within 3 months, I was able to go from very fuzzy photo to me, fairly decent photos. Why? Because I have a loop, okay? The loop starts from curiosity. right? Start from like, what can I do with this, right? Start with a sense of connection, right? When hummingbirds come by, I don't just take photos. I really try to connect to the hummingbirds, okay? I try to connect to some of the attributes within hummingbirds. You know, their sense of balance, right? Their sense of agility, their fearlessness, right? There seems to move extremely fast but easy. Okay, they don't like they're very hurried. No, when I move fast, I look very hurried. When they move fast, they look elegant. Okay, there's a lot of things that we can connect to, be aspired to. Okay, then I sort of immerse myself in this. Right, I take photos daily. Right, then I look at the photos, I reflect on it. Right, and see if I can possibly improve and Right, then I make adjustment. Then what I do is I actually share my first-hand experience. Okay, to me, this is very important. Share our first-hand experience, how we feel about what we do. Very, very important. And the person we share the first is ourselves. You know, have a notebook, you know, in my computer, I actually have a ongoing diary of, you know, so I can drag photos in and share like how I got this photo and, you know, why this photo really, really are, you know, terrible or horrible. Or I actually made this mistake and this photo came out. Oh my goodness, I never would ever imagine this photo would come out, but it came out because I was not following rules. So I have this loop, basically to approach anything, okay? And this loop is based on some principle, okay? So you see this curiosity connection, and in the middle is principle. What's the principle of photography? Okay, basically, honestly, like four elements, and that's it. There's no more than 4 elements. Okay, shutter speed, aperture, ISO number. These 3 controls everything about exposure, about how light comes in, how much, and you know for how long. If we want good color, we start going to white balance. This principle was true 200 years ago. Okay, and it's going to be true 2,000 years after this, because we're talking about light. Okay, we're not talking about technology. This is not about a camera that's the latest and the greatest and it costs money. Okay, photography. So when we focus on the principle, it's not about the camera. It's about learning, experiencing, using these tools to further refine our understanding of the principles. So for me, no more point and shoot. Okay, so the issue with cell phones and point and shoot cameras and stuff like that is we can get a good photo, but can we get it again? Or we can get a bad photo, and can we avoid getting another bad photo? Right? So the key really is for us to understand and to fully, have this first-hand experience of principles, right? Not just learning how to ride a bicycle from talks and books and videos and we gotta get our butt on the bicycle. So how would this relate to Chinese medicine? To me, there's no difference. Okay, it's a different way to express ourselves. It's a different way to thrive, to go into a different field, but it's the same thing. Curiosity, our connection to our patients, right? Do we connect to their pain and suffering, the signs and symptoms, or something so much deeper, right? Then we're mutual healing, because I can, whatever I connect to, however I connect to my patient, I connect internally to myself as well. Okay, can we immerse in this, or we only do this when we put on our white coat, right? Can we see the world? Honestly, I see hummingbirds everywhere. Okay, I also see Chinese medicine everywhere. Can we immerse ourselves in this, right? Can we see, last week I shared like this a stick, right? This golf tee and I see this and it becomes a Chinese medicine tool for me, because we can use that to open up channels, right? To me, that's what immersion means. Okay, Chinese medicine is not in the classroom. It's not just in the clinic. It becomes part of our life. Okay, and through that we can start to analyze, to reflect, and to really ponder, right? To ask questions and make adjustments, right? And then what's most important, again, is share our first-hand experience. First with ourselves. Honestly, be honest with ourselves, okay? when we go into the clinic, receive treatment, how do we really feel? That is so important, okay? Does our symptoms temporarily disappear and then reappear? Take note of that, because those are so important. We don't come to the school and say, oh, Chinese medicine is the best thing in the world. Forget about that, okay? Chinese medicine needs to be the most useful thing in the world for us first. Because if it's not, if we graduate from the school not better than the day we came in, honestly, we're going to struggle as Chinese medicine doctor. We may have a lot of patients, but we're going to struggle with ourselves. We're going to struggle within ourselves. Only through first-hand experience to say, okay, I learned this, I'm going to apply it to myself, how do I feel? And you continue to refine it, internalize this. We can only treat based on our own cultivation, okay? So what we're doing, and what I would recommend, is we find the principle of Chinese medicine. And we continue to refine it. It's very similar to photography, right? Shutter speed, aperture, ISO, and that's it. That's 3 elements, three adjustments to get perfect exposure. In Chinese medicine, what's our principle? Okay. The principle I share, the principle I practice in my clinic is channels, 14 channels. It's really easy. It's not about points. It's not about needles. It's about channels. And what affects channels? Okay, let me give you an example. Liver qi stagnation, right? The number one issue everybody has, basically, right? The signs are distension, bloating, digestion issue, elimination, circulation, breathing, menstruation, depression, anxiety, PTSD, dampness, gout, right? Tumor, cancer, posture issues, joint pain, okay? You name it. And this list can go on and on and on and on, okay? Out of all these symptoms, you're going to find liver qi stagnation, okay? So the diagnosis is liver, excess liver, right? Liver qi stagnation, excess liver. Is that correct? Let me tell you, it's not correct. Liver qi stagnation has nothing to do with liver. It's not the liver problem. When you flush your toilet and the water comes out, it's not your toilet has a problem. Okay? The water is not flowing through. So liver channel flows into lung channel. So with liver qi stagnation, you're going to have lung qi deficient. Okay, if you read the pulse and you say, oh, the liver is pumping, if you read the lung pulse is weak. Why? Because the mighty liver river that is supposed to go past our chest and flow into a lung channel is not flowing through. So we have a flood right at our chest, and that's causing all the distension, bloating, digestion issue, menstruation, right? Breathing, depression, and everything. Honestly, it all matches, right? It's not flowing through, right? So the treatment is not to drain the excess liver channel. The treatment is really to remove the blockage. Okay. So the way we block our liver channel is through pericardium channel. Okay, and honestly, do not trust me. Okay, do this yourself right now. Okay, find your PC1, which is situated on 4th and 5th, rib in between, right? One twin from the nipple, basically. Is it painful? If it's painful, you just confirm yourself. Okay. If you do this to your patient, you empower your patient. Your patient will be you will never run out of patients. Because you empower them to say, you know what? The trouble, the issue that you're experiencing, and you're being you spend years and years trying to find the person who can help you, is right here. Nobody can unlock this except nobody can unlock our PC channel except ourselves. You cannot, needle doesn't work this way. Okay, no needle is big enough for me to feel the world is full of injustice, and I'm so suppressed and depressed. No needle can help you with that. Okay, but when we start to feel pain, we start to work on our pericardium channel, right? We start to find more pain. Okay, these days there is a beautiful invention called a wired bra, And that caused liver qi stagnation to no end, okay? You start to find really, really bad issues. You compare the tissues, you start to feel like, okay, there's the suppleness is gone because wired bra really restrict the blood flow, okay? Really jam up the circulation. So then we'll start to find, okay, the liver qi stagnation really is not a physical problem. Okay? Even though it can be physical, but majority of the time is because we have so much injustice we feel we are so suppressed, we cannot thrive. Okay, we are small. Compared to these teachers, we know nothing. Honestly, everybody knows tremendous amount. Okay, you're here not as a blank page. You're here to bring so much of your experience, everything. Okay, you're here, through your life experience or even lifetime of experiences, you already have so much to offer. Okay, you're just trying to find an instrument to express how you feel. Okay, whether through a camera, or through needles, or through not needle, through your hands. Okay, so in my clinic, I use needle extremely rare. Okay, so the real treatment is perspective change, our ability to connect to love unconditionally, right? Our sense of thriving, and really like understand channels. Like, oh my goodness, my channel flows. My PC unlocked. I feel safe. All of a sudden, I can breathe. Our stomach start to growl. Like, right? I get so embarrassed, right? But honestly, in our clinic, and Lilia and a few people were just there, right? When people's stomach growl to us, that's the most beautiful music. Okay, that's music to our ears. Because what does that mean? That means the person goes from liver qi stagnation to flowing through. When we are in liver qi stagnation, we are in fight and flight. In fight and flight mode, we're not supposed to be able to digest, to have even the sense of hunger. When bullets are shooting over our head, and we say, okay, what's for lunch? No, we don't do that. Okay, so only when we feel safe, all these functions start to come back. Very, very important. Okay. So I actually have a noon talk about liver qi stagnation. Okay, so I'm not gonna keep going. Okay, but the key thing, the key takeaway is: do not trust me, please. Do not trust me. Do not trust anything that you learn in the school. Trust yourself. Build your first-hand experience. Okay, your first-hand experience may confirm my first-hand. All I'm doing here is to share my first-hand experience. After you try it, your first-hand experience may be identical to mine, but it's yours. It's not mine. Okay, and to me, all these issues, okay, high blood pressure, Parkinson, cancer, Bell palsy, shingles, arthritis, sciatica, gout, diabetes, suicide, depression, anxiety, death. Okay, once we figure out liver qi stagnation, we start to change our perspective. Then we start to find a commonality underneath all these issues. If we want to treat these, if we want to learn how to treat these one at a time, okay, and the treatment doesn't work, right? If we read something and we trust the protocol and it doesn't work, it's like we're using a point and shoot and we cannot get a good picture. It's the same thing, okay? When we encounter these difficulties, what do? We go back to the principle, okay? If my exposure is horrible, right, I will go back to the principle. It's like, okay, how's my shutter speed? How's my aperture? How's my ISO? You go back to the principle, right? So if we are looking at these issues, these physical representation, high blood pressure and stuff like that, right? Go back to channels. Go back to the principle of channels. It's all the same, okay? And where do we start? We start from ourselves, okay? If we have menstruation issues, if we have depression, right? If we have high blood pressure, right? If we're nervous, if we cannot sleep, right? If we constipate, congratulations. Honestly, congratulations. Because when we go through these issues, when we use the idea of channels, when we start to go inside ourselves, right, to feel how safe we feel, right, whether we trust, whether we feel that there's unconditional love in this world or not, and right, we start to go inside. We start to understand ourselves. And because we start to unlock these things that's preventing our channels from going smoothly, right, we start to understand firsthand how channel works. Okay? It's not just what we read, what we learn, it's the text from 2,000 years ago. No, it's personal now. Okay? And we can only treat based on our own cultivation. So please, it's not the camera, it's not the needles, it's not the formulas, right? It's our cultivation on anything. When I say anything, it can be camera work, right? It can be photography, it can be Chinese medicine, it can be knitting, right? It can be Wing Chun, right? It can be just a good walking, right? When we fully understand, when we fully immerse in how we walk and we feel, oh my goodness, I feel so liberating when I walk, right? We start to understand how to walk, and that will translate into tremendous treatment in the clinic. Okay, I like to share with you stories, but if you have time, Wednesday morning from 9 to noon, just stop by. Okay, upstairs 220. Okay. So to me, all these things translate. Okay, when we understand one principle, we start to apply that same principle, that same loop in anything that we learn, right? And all of a sudden, we have different feelings. We start to feel rather than just, jam these knowledge inside of us. Okay. So when we are curious and we have the sense of relentless pursuit of essence, okay, we heard this term, relentless pursuit of excellence. Please do not pursue excellence. Pursue essence. Okay. This is from Picasso. Okay. So he drew this 11 bulls, basically. This is pretty famous, called Picasso's bull. So he started, with this. It's like extremely detailed, extremely detailed, extremely detailed. Then he started to go extremely essential. What's the essence of a bull, right? And that results in the very last drawing. Okay. So to me, that's what we're doing. That's when we're having fun. Okay? That's when we get to a place when we feel like, okay, Chinese medicine is so simple. It's not all the points I have to remember, all the tests I have to take, right? All the formulas and all this yin and yang, okay, all this, this point is double purpose. It can drain, it can tonify at the same time. It's like, okay, what do I do with this point? Okay? Because we start to understand and this internal feel, this internal connection to the essence of the things that we're doing. Okay? And as we're doing this, our Ren channel and our Du channel will be vibrant because we're thriving. We're curious. Okay? Curiosity, passion, hope, this autoimmune functions, automatic functions like breathing and heart rate are all controlled by our midbrain. And Du channel goes through our midbrain. So please energize our midbrain, okay? When our midbrain is energized, we don't need to know. We don't need to have foresight. Okay? We can very honestly say, people come in and say, okay, I have small intestine bacteria overflow. Like there's a term for it. One patient came in, highly recommended by another doctor. She came in and say, I have small intestine, SBO or something like that. Okay, there's SIBO. Yes. Thank you so much. SIBO. Okay, so she says she has SIBO, right? And I say, what is SIBO? And she looked at me like, are you serious? Right? And you're highly recommended? I said, I've never heard this term. Right? Please tell me what SIBO is. And she said, small intestinal overflow or overgrowth, right? And I say, how's your life? Are you continuously in fight and flight? And she looked at me and was like, I'm in the right place. Okay? She's actually a psychologist, right? She was in fight and flight all her life, okay? And I say, in fight and flight, you're not supposed to be able to digest. Your stomach is not supposed to work. Your digestion is not, your elimination is not supposed to work because you're in fight and flight. When you feel like your life is in imminent danger, of course you're not supposed to do this. So all of a sudden we change her entire perspective to say, okay, she's not focusing on her small intestine as SIBO issue. She's focusing on her connection to her parents. She's been trying to run away from her parents all her life, right? Thanks for coming. Yeah, thank you. Okay? So once our rin channel and du channels are flowing, right, we will not be concerned about evil qi, okay? This sense that, okay, when you're in the clinic and you're treating cancer patients or people with menstruation or whatever, right, you gotta, don't stand here, don't sit there, and afterwards you gotta, cleanse yourself, right? Why? Honestly, even if we have that concept, we are already hurt. Our channels are already defending ourselves, okay? Honestly, please, okay, see patients as our parents. Do not be afraid of them, okay? If we're so concerned about evil qi, none of us should be here. You think this room doesn't have evil qi? You think this room has never been occupied by cancer patients? And the cancer patient, and the qi leaves when the patient leaves? Allow our rin channel and our du channel to flow. Allow our energy to connect to loving kindness, to the greatest energy in the world. Allow us to be lighthouses rather than this candle in the wind where we're like, oh, where is the evil wind? Okay? When we find the principle, when we understand the principle, we have very little fear. Okay? There are so many seekers in this school. Okay? Please continue to seek. Do not take anything for granted. Okay? Do not just say, oh, wow, I found it. Question yourself, immerse in yourself, feel this first-hand experience and continue to seek. Okay? So the main reason, honestly, for this presentation is may we all be good at seeing, questioning, okay, experimenting, reflecting, connecting, refining. May we all be good doctors. Okay? In order to be really good at seeing, questioning, experimenting, reflecting, connecting, refining, it doesn't have to be Chinese medicine. Okay? All these are universal qualities. Okay? Okay, that's my... I kind of crammed this into these slides. Okay? Any question? That seem to have probably like 10 minutes.
Astonishing that it only took 3 months. That was amazing. I mean, I know some folks that they've been pursuing it all their lives. That was quick.
Please take that, please. Lilia just said, it just took me 3 months to get those photos. Honestly, it only takes you 3 months to be really, 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 really good Chinese medicine doctors. Okay? When your perspective is different, when your approach is different, when your pursuit of your principle is different. Honestly, this is my vision. Okay, 3 months is all it takes. You fully immerse yourself in this, and you start to treat nobody else but yourself. We start to understand ourselves, because once we understand ourselves, we understand all people. We all run on the same 14 channels. All races, all ages. Okay? All the same. So when we can use one camera, we can use all the camera once we understand the principle of the camera. Thank you for bringing that up, okay? Because that's one of the biggest blockage for Chinese, in my mind, for learning anything, especially Chinese medicine. It's like, oh, I need 30 years of experience. No, you need 3 months of experience. I can honestly say this. You think we need to learn all the points? No. All the formulas? No. Okay? We need to learn ourselves. That's it. Honestly, if I just tell you, if you just, take care of yourself. Feel how your PC1 feels. Okay? If you're a woman, congratulations, because every month you're going to know how your liver channel flows. You can open a clinic just with that. You will have endless amount of patients because you resolve one issue that you have. Honestly, that's all it takes. And from that one issue, you will have insight. Thank you for coming. And with that one issue, you will have insight into all the issues. Then you pick up the pieces that you need. Rather than listening to the protocols, formulas. Okay, this is what the great doctors used to use, so that's what we use. What if it doesn't work? What do you do? This is the same as this is the greatest point and shoot camera, but oh my God, nothing comes out properly for me. What do I do? There's nothing I know until I know the principle. Okay. So on Zoom, oh, thank you. So I don't know if there's any, thank you for that comment, okay? Yeah. So I heard sound from Zoom. Any comments or question? Okay. So I'm very good. So to me, I'm very good at being inspired. Okay, I'm very easily inspired. Okay, when I first came to the school, I was very easily inspired by all the teachers. Okay, everything they share with me. Okay, I try. Okay, when we are inspired, act, do something, and feel. Okay, go into that loop of feeling, experimenting, right? Build our first-hand experience and share that with us first. We gotta share things with ourselves, okay? Because from that, and then we share with other people, right? Because then we have clarity. It's just not I feel interesting, but how do I really feel? Because when we share, we start to the clarity start to come in. Right? That's when, honestly, I study the same martial art Wing Chun as Hugo, right? It wasn't until I started to share that with other people. Upstairs there are a few patients that say, "Oh, John, we want to learn, Wing Chun as well." I said, "Oh, okay, we'll play." Right? It wasn't until then do I really start to feel that I'm connected to Wing Chun. So share our first-hand experience is so important. And when we share, if we feel like other people are resisting, then we start to learn more about ourselves. Okay, do I really, the things I feel is good, other people have to take it, otherwise I get angry, then we are a candle in the wind. Okay, we're not a lighthouse, right? So we learn more about ourselves. Yeah. So if we share and we start to have liver qi stagnation, then of course other people wouldn't take our words for yeah. Okay, there's no more comments or question. We're going to end today. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate this. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.